Very, very happy now to introduce Charlie Dark. Charlie Dark is a poet, a DJ, a producer, a teacher. He's based in London and is a founding figure of the urban poetry scene. In the 1990s, he formed the Urban Poets Society, a collective uniting rappers, MCs and poets. He's currently working on his first collection of poems, which will come out very soon. It's called The God of Road. A very, very warm welcome to Charlie Dark.
Right, how are you all? It's a slight contrast, we need to wake ourselves up. My name is Charlie Dark, as has been announced. I teach poetry and creative writing in schools around the world, predominantly in the UK and in London. When I don't work with them, I work, for some reason, football clubs like me to go in there and work with them as well. We'll hear more about that later. At this moment in time, can you take your right hand like so? Because we need to warm ourselves up. And that includes you, sir. I know you're quite cool, but, you know. We're going to get our hand, we're going to shake it like so. And then we're going to let our left hand, and we're also going to shake that like so. And we're going to think of all of the people who have annoyed us this week, of which there are many. After three, we're going to say the words away, away, away. And we're going to imagine that we're getting these people out of our bodies. 1, 2, 3. Okay, my friends, it's a Serpentine Poetry Marathon. It's not a funeral. We need some more oomph. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Brilliant. The next thing, my friends, that you will do is you will take your hand and turn to the person on your left and introduce yourself and say hello. Introduce yourself to someone here who you do not know. That includes you, sir, in the cap. Okay, that's very good. We will do that. And then once we have done that, my friends, what we will do is we will take our hand like so, make it into a fist like so, and I would like you to touch your fist against the person next to you and pretend you're wearing a hoodie on your head and give them the same greeting. So we're going to do that as well, okay? Touch your fist against someone next to you and say hello, okay? You just touch it to the lady next to you just there. Okay, fantastic, good. You can pretend that you're 15 and you live in an estate. Lovely. Right, the reason why I'm asking you to do this is in my work in schools, I often wonder how certain bits of slang and gestures come along. And there's a current one at the moment is a thing of when you see your friend, you touch your fist against theirs. And I was so intrigued by this thing, I decided to write a piece. So we will start with this. It's called Black Fist. I want you to imagine that you're in an undesirable area and you're wearing a hooded top of some form or fashion. Black fist, knuckle bash, man-to-man bear hug. My friends, it is the unofficial greeting of the man on the streets and the only time my brothers touch without fighting. I don't know where this gesture came from, my friends, or how it reached our shores. But in that fleeting moment when our bones collide, we are united in the celebration that we live to meet and greet another day. In the cities where we are from, some of our friends take their hellos and their goodbyes very seriously. You see, I have tended too many funerals and I've tended too many graves and I've been to too many parties where some fool misbehaved and pulled out the shotgun and started like shooting in the air because my brothers and my sisters are dying, but our heroes do not care. Too busy rapping on MTV with diamond mansions in their ears. So the next time you see two statues frozen with fists drawn on the corner, do not clutch your handbag or cross the road. Do not wind up the window of your Land Rover or slow your roll. My friends, it's probably just two of my friends, my brothers, my sisters, my mothers, my fathers, my sons, my daughters, my cousins, my grandmothers, my grandfathers, my people, my posse, my friends, my family, taking a small moment of time to say hello. There you go. That's it. That's the end of that one. Okay. So now, I dedicate this set to my sixth form English teacher who told me I was going to fail my English A-level. Ha! I'm at the Serpentine. What? Yeah, man. Put your hand up here or make some noise if you've ever been to the Notting Hill Carnival. Has anyone here been? Some of you have been, some of you will never go, some of you it's a disturbance for you for it to be on your doorstep. In my street when I was growing up, I grew up in East Dulwich when it was a hole, before the Starbucks descended upon us. And my mum is from Ghana in West Africa, and she therefore would not allow me out. I was under curfew. I was one of those boys that had to kind of make up kind of elaborate lies to be allowed out of the house. And I was the last boy on my street to ever be allowed to go to the Notting Hill Carnival. And when I went, that's when I decided that I wanted to be a DJ. And I thought I'd read you this poem about the first time I went. And it's also for anyone who's ever been to a party and had that moment when the breakdown in the record comes and you're kind of standing there with your eyes closed, waiting for the music to come back in. There's a lady here is looking at me saying, I've never ever experienced that before. You never know. If you sit in the first two rows, you become part of the act. Right. I want you to imagine that you are now in Notting Hill, you are down the road, it's very loud, the street is shaking, and we are there. Sandwiched between speaker stacks, me, Remy, and my best friend Conrad were skanking to the sounds of Rap Attack in the middle of All Saints Road. Too old for chaperones, we left our mums at home and headed west with passport travel cars, jumping buses and jam-packed Central Line silver tubes. There were no postcodes in those days. No border patrols at bus stops, and no kids in hoods asking you to rep your ends. London moved as one, and all of the gangs were friends, but I'd never been to Carnival before. I never followed floats, or flashed lighters in front of sounds. I never felt the bass weight on my chest plate, or raved within the crowd. I'd never eaten chicken off a paper plate, or drunk rum from a plastic cup, or waited in anticipation for the heaviest of bass drops. My friends, I'd never ever been to Carnival before. So when the DJ pulled the track back, like, placed his finger on the black wax, I stood still for as long as time would allow, wishing moments like this would never end. I was surrounded by strangers, but I was here with my friends, and I was immersed in the cuts and the blends. And when the MC called for the reload, send this one out to all the massive in the dance, all the people on the east side, or the west side, or the south side. If anyone wants to reload, can anyone reload? We put lips to urban telephones and blew oxygen through air horns like tugboats in a sea of bass. Like, hands around hips, we danced and we dipped and we kissed goddesses of carnival with Guinness on our tongues. We were young and 21 with degrees, and like Jimmy Castor said, our lives had just begun. And the music had never sounded this good, and I would have stood inside the speaker if I could have drowned my whole body in sound. The drum claps were begging my feet to dance, and the record was spinning round and round, and the DJ was at one with the crowd. Live and direct from the control tower, the man with the power gets down, and I wanted to be him. I wanted to keep the party jumping with the records that I spin. I wanted to hear my name reverberating around the room. And I wanted to pulverize dance floors with sonic booms. I wanted to be the DJ that rocked the crowd, the one that turned the bass up loud. I wanted to be the man that made the speakers shake with beats of steel that thump like earthquake. I wanted to be that sound. I wanted to be the sound, the suffering, and the James Brown scream singing, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. I wanted to fight the power, to beat the street, to hang out with girls like Billie Jean. I wanted to slow it down and tie up loose ends, to close my eyes so this moment never ends. But for now, I'm just a man dancing extremely badly in the streets, waiting in anticipation for the commencement of the beat. Thank you very much. Okay, we're still here. Right, okay, so in my work, I often meet young people who say to me, I kind of like poetry, but I've never ever had cut flowers in my house, and you're making me write poems about daffodils and mountains. So I kind of like Wordsworth and that T.S. Eliot dudes, but why don't you write some poetry, especially for me? So I decided to write this for a group of boys that I know. And it's all about, it's written from the perspective of their front door, and their front door waiting for them to return from a day at school. And we'll see how we get on. Are we all okay? It's fine. Yeah. I know it's kind of sick. Okay, all right, man, all right. It's called a click of the catch. I want you to imagine it's morning time, you've just closed your front door. I have a Yale lock, you might have some brightening, you know, the special kind of lock. I am the click or the catch that wonders if you ever come back. I'm the mother who kisses her son's forehead in the morning and wonders about the weight in his school rucksack. It's unusually heavy. Does he lie to your face? Does he hold your gaze steady? Your son is secretly praying that one day you will go for his room and find the tool before the boys in blue do. Put him aside when he gets home from school and beat the black off his back and tell him he's a fool for listening to the call of the bass drum from the fast car, because your 13-year-old son thinks that drug dealers are cool. I am the zip. You close on the roof of your school bag to hide the shake of the bullet clips. I am the crease in your hoodie that wonders why you pretend to your friends that you're as bad as them and really you're a goody-goody two-shoes who always watches the news. To prove to yourself that you are mortal and it could happen to you, or you, or you, or you. Wrong place, wrong time, yeah? Like, it's just the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, the boy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. If that was me, yeah, I'm just gonna get on my cell phone and call up the crew. Then I'm gonna cross my fingers and hope they've got credit on their phones so the call goes through. My friends, it's an SOS. Wrong place, wrong time. You know what? I am the sticker on your baseball New Era cap that reminds you that you are the best. But I'd like to inform you, my friend, that 7 3/4 is not a mark of your intelligence. Blood is the size of your head. I'm the bubble in the Air Max trainer in Foot Locker. Looks really bad and you want that. I can't really afford it at the moment, but by any means necessary, like Malcolm X, I am getting that. Because, sir, I read half the autobiography and then I got bored, and so I had to dead that. I am the blade, and I do not discriminate. I will shank you and your friends in the dance right now, and I will take the cake. And I don't really care who I'm robbing. I told you, take the shoes off your feet right now and stop sobbing. And I don't really mind, because like, in this street corner confrontation, first sign of weakness, one of us is dying. And inside, both of us are crying. And I'm really, really trying to look hard, but my lips are quivering. And every time I talk to you, my friend, it's like I'm spitting and the saliva clings to the spots on your face and it glistens. And I'm so close to you, I can hear your breath. And your breath stinks. And it won't be me. Another statistic to be mentioned on ITV. They are not wheeling my African mum out so she can start crying on TV and talking about how she never knew I had a street name and how she never really knew me. My friends, repeat after me. It's an SOS. And it's another boy shot. And I'm wondering to myself, my friends, when will it stop? And I don't even know you, but I care. But every time I hear another news report, it's like I'm there. Back in the day, corner of the street, outside the cab office, Vauxhall, 1986, were you there? When the boy stepped up to me and flicked out the pen knife like, pa! It was a commando blade, and the blade was glistening in the moonlight. And the boy stepped up to me and he wanted something, and that something was mine. So I had to give him the look of the consequences of his actions and how I wasn't really built for the spotlight and I wasn't ready to die yet and how I was really shook. Someone once asked me what the most beautiful sound in the world is I've ever heard. And I'd say, honestly, the day I held my daughter in my arms for the very first time, her first cry. But after that, it was the sound that night of the click. Sound of the blade slithering back into the flick knife. You see, the pavement was ugly enough. Didn't need any more decaying flowers, candles or soggy cards. And besides, to be honest with you, my friends are quite stupid and they'd probably spell my name wrong. And I am not a martyr. So do not be deceived by the clothes, my friends, because I used to be you. Used to sit in my bedroom in South London, screwing and angry at the world and thinking about going into the kitchen, pulling out the drawer and taking out the tool. Which is why I get paid to stand on stages, because I was one of you. Which is why I came to your school today to write poems for you, for you, for you, for you, and you. Right. Okay. So, this is good, because my mum likes it when I do stuff for the BBC or the Serpentine. She's probably on the phone to Ghana saying, "Hey, Charlie, you never believe, the boy is at the Serpentine Gallery." Sounds good. We're going to close now with the very last piece, and we're going to make it short, because I know you need to go off and do your thing. But put your hand up if you are cool. Come on, this is an art crowd. I know you're cool, because I've heard the conversations. Listen, the coolest boy I went to school with was a boy called Richard Campbell. And when I saw him, he was just like my hero. He walked into the classroom and his body came in like 2 weeks later. And our headmaster was a really, really, really scary man, and his voice kind of rolled like thunder through the hallways, and Richard Campbell would never ever stand up straight in front of him. He was kind of like a boy with no spine. He was just standing like... And he kind of talked in this language that only him and his 4 friends understood, like, yeah, like what? Yeah. I just thought, like, wow. But my mum was from Ghana, so therefore, when I went home and tried to, Charlie, what are you doing? Hey. Unfortunately for Richard Campbell, his mum was from Nigeria, and she told him one summer that he was going to Disneyland for the whole summer. And unfortunately for him, as the plane came to land, he looked out the window and the ground was red dust. And she realized she sent him back to Lagos forever. And I was so devastated by this, because he was a footballer and he could kick with 2 feet. And he was the first boy in our class to ever kiss a girl as well. And I saw it, he said, I came into school, he was like, I kissed a girl this weekend. And I was like, oh, wow, what was it like? He said to me, get your arm like this, and bend it like this, and put your lips here. That's like kissing. and I believed it. So I was so moved by that I decided to write this poem. Now, unfortunately for you, because I'm reaching the age now where grey hairs are appearing in my beard and in my hair, my memory is not what it was. So unfortunately for you, my friends, you're going to have to help me with this poem, which is good because you've been sitting there seeing people talk, and now it's time to start doing some stuff. So, get your right hand like so, and your left hand like so. And I promise I won't pick anyone on the first or second rows, even my friend here in the commando jacket who is so cool that he can't join in. Right, okay. My friends, we're going to do something in the tradition of poets from back in the day, from Griot's, called call and response. I will say a line, I will give you an action, I would like you to repeat the line and action back to me. Whatever! Whatever! You need more oomph, my friends, more oomph. Let's try one more time. Whatever! Whatever! Happen to airborne! Airborne! He was the most amazing. Get your cameras out now and put this on YouTube right now. He was the most super incredible. Super fantastical. Break dancer. Ever born. He could stand on his head and spin round and round. It was like he was a builder drilling an hole into the ground. His footwork was dope. And he always looked fresh in his tracksuit, trainers, and Adidas vest. Cause he had thousands, no millions, no zillions of moves that he loved to flex. You can get your F and make your F look around. Look in your ear or someone next to you. But one day he did a backflip. And he never came down. And that was the last time we ever saw him around. Perhaps he is dancing in outer space. Or moon walking on the moon. I wonder if everyone goes silent. Shh. Shh. When he walks into the room. Did the did the DJ have the breakbeats to challenge his feet? Zigga zigga zo, zigga zigga zay, zigga zigga za 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 zigga za, zigga zigga za 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 zigga zo. He was a friend, and he was an original superstar. And this goes out to airborne, 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 wherever. Wherever you are. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie Dark, and that's about it from me. Thank you very much for having me.